right, everybody, welcome to the Retro Wrestling Revival. Hope everybody is having a great day, a great night, a great everything. Hope all your world is going great, all your dreams are coming true. Welcome to the show. If you're a first-time listener, watcher, we're glad to have you here. We got a great show planned for you tonight. I'm John Wangland, and joining me, as always, is my partner, Richie Reardon. What's going on, Mr. Richie? How are you, sir?
Feeling good tonight, man. Had a busy day today. Had to take the wife to the dentist, man. She had a lot of teeth being pulled, so we had a lot going on today personally, but I'm definitely excited after that to be sitting down and breaking down some old school wrestling with you, brother.
We're going to have some fun, folks. Well, if you are checking the show out for the first time or you've never heard of us, because we are in a bunch of new markets right now on our audio and including some stuff we're doing on video. So if you're a first-time watcher or listener, we once again want to welcome you to the show. We want to tell you a little bit about what we do. And what we do is we go back in the great wrestling history and we check out some of our favorite stuff here, hence why we call it the Retro Wrestling Revival. We sprinkle in some new stuff once in a while, have some good discussions on it, but we do retro content primarily here. So if there's something you like and see, you're probably going to see it here in the show. We touch WCW, WWF, you name it, we do it. Some ECW, some obscure federations occasionally. We have a good time checking out some retro content. So that's what you can expect from myself, from Richie, from Chris, our team over here at the Retro Wrestling Revival. And you can check out more of what we got and what we do right on our Facebook, Retro Wrestling Revival Podcast, and on YouTube. So make sure you go and follow and like. We have a great community over there, and we hope you come over with us. But tonight, with it being WrestleMania season, we decided to do a little WrestleMania theme. So what we're going to be doing over the next couple of episodes is we're going to be taking great feuds and great matches and going back in time to WrestleMania, with it being our favorite time of year as wrestling fans. Richie picked one for this episode. The next episode that we're going to have here, I'm going to do. So episode 1 for our WrestleMania feuds and matches. What did you pick as one of your all-time favorites? What do you want to do tonight?
Well, man, when you think of the Attitude Era and you think of WrestleMania moments and WrestleMania feuds, one of them that stands out the most and I think is the most iconic that put WWE on the map as far as a global phenomenon is you got to go with Austin versus Rock, man. This is the first time that they faced off and in a WrestleMania main event. And, The Rock was, man, at an all-time, he was pipe hot, with the switch over to being a heel and, just leaving the Nation of Domination, Vince had put the rocket ship on The Rock's back, and he shot him to the fucking moon and paired him off with the hottest commodity in wrestling at the time, which was Stone Cold Steve Austin. And when you put these two together, man, you could see over the years that there was nothing but magic between these two. You had The Rock, which was the complete opposite of Austin, and they made a perfect pair in the ring in the squared circle. And Stone Cold Steve Austin was the beer-swilling, foul-mouthed Texan. And The Rock was, somebody who dressed like he was in Hollywood. And come to find out later on, he becomes the highest paid actor on the planet. So
the irony of that, huh? A little foreshadowing.
The irony. Yeah. And he played the part very well, man. And, you got to give the credit to, a lot of people give the credit to Stone Cold Steve Austin all the time for this feud. But, Stone Cold wouldn't be where he was today without The Rock. And I truly believe that. I think he had some other great feuds, but The Rock was kind of his villain to his story, and then later on they flipped it. They flipped the script and made more money. So
do you think The Rock and Stone Cold are each other's greatest rivalries throughout their careers?
I think The Rock has a close second to Austin. I think Triple H was a good one for The Rock for a lot of years. They came up, at the same time. The Rock was Rocky Maivia. Of course, Triple H was Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and then they switched over to their alliances with the Nation of Domination and DX. So, Triple H was a good one for The Rock, but Stone Cold Steve Austin put him to a different level and took him out of that mid-card game from the Intercontinental title picture to the WWE title picture, WWF, back in the day. Yep. So I think the Texas Rattlesnake brought the best out of The Rock. I think he was the best opponent for him in the ring. Their styles matched up. Austin was a brawler. The Rock was a hell of a technician in the ring as far as, his wrestling moves and stuff like that. And he was also very entertaining. And both these guys were hot on the mic. They knew how to talk trash. And that's what really set this over and made it believable. They were believable characters, and their feud was believable.
Yep. I got to go with, for me, The Rock's biggest adversary in his career. I got to go with Stone Cold for him from all perspectives. As a superstar, Stone Cold and The Rock, for Stone Cold, as a wrestling superstar, somebody was in the ring. I think The Rock was Stone Cold's biggest enemy, but Stone Cold's biggest enemy of all time was Vince McMahon to me, and you know, the authority type figure of him. But for each of these guys, and that's saying a lot, because these guys both had some tremendous feuds. We could go down the list of all the legends that they each faced. I just think they were like they worked perfect. They were peanut butter and jelly. These guys, no matter what. And here we are in 2024, and you know, there's always potential that we might get another Rock Austin match of some sorts at some point. You know, it's amazing to think WrestleMania 15, 25 years later, and I know WrestleMania hasn't aired yet at this point, and we're a little far out as we're taping this, but I'm telling you, bro, I still believe that Austin might have a part in WrestleMania in this Bloodline feud, and they might get him out for one more match. But 25 years ago from this match that we're going to watch, and these two are still just as relevant as ever and still as big of a stars as they once were. So anytime these two come out, people are coming, because just look at The Rock. You know, people can shit on him all they want. The Cody Crybabies can come out. The Rock brings money.
Gotta finish the story.
Gotta finish the story, man. We gotta finish it. But you know, The Rock is the Rock is The Rock, and this guy is It's just it's so great to go back and check out this old content, because all the stuff you see now, it just can't match up to what we grew up with and what we saw. That's my opinion, at least.
Just to touch on something that's happening more current, you know, The Rock, it kind of shined a light on something for me. You know, when he did the Nation of Domination gimmick, and he kind of outshined, you know, Farouk. You know, Farouk was the leader. The Nation of Domination was actually made for D'Lo Brown originally to come out of his shell and make him into a star. And you know, you saw from the very beginning, The Rock and the superstar that he is, and you know, the just his persona. You know, The Rock's persona. He took over the Nation of Domination back then, made it his own, and literally shot himself into superstardom with that. You're seeing that fast forward, you know, all these years later, The Rock with this bloodline, and you're watching on SmackDown the other night. All these people in the ring that are today's WWE stars are completely silent, and The Rock is just controlling the narrative, controlling the whole thing. He's come in here, you know, with no time at all. He's taken over the whole storyline. It's all about The Rock now, and he's it's like he's never missed a step, dude.
It's going to be the next year's storylines, I think, too, with him. You know, I think this is going to keep going on until next WrestleMania in different capacities, too, with them. It shows you just how special this generation of stars was. The Rocks, the Austins, the Triple H's, the Undertakers, Kanes, you know, Kurt Angles, all those guys. You know, I'm just throwing a bunch out there. And I know I'm missing a ton of legends. It was such a special era of people. And just the things that they went and did could just never be replicated again. And, you know, just...
Well, they were all different. The thing that was great about the Attitude Era is all the characters were different. You know, you turn on the TV nowadays, they're all the same. They all wear the same tights. They all have the same kind of gimmicks. There's nothing that really... Same everything. And you know, I think in a lot of ways, the Lucha Libre style has watered down wrestling as all, you know, all the way around with the flips and everything else. It's... You know, I used to like turning on wrestling and watching the wars that would happen. I enjoyed the Dan Severn matches. I enjoyed the Ken Shamrock matches. You know, New Age Outlaws, all those guys that were brawlers and stuff. And you really thought there was a fight going on. I didn't need all the flips and the crazy moves, the flipping pile drivers and all these things, the hot spots that they do now. It's, you know, you can tell today that the people don't know how to tell a story as much as these wrestlers did back then. They took is more approach, and they would tell a story versus just doing a bunch of high spots. And that's what I really miss about wrestling.
Yeah, we were talking about it in our show in Atlanta, that it's amazing to think when you look at it now, like you said, The Rock just hasn't missed a step. This guy can just get out there and just flip the switch like that in a second. And these larger than life characters that have been missing for so long, he's bringing that back to them again. And he's going to hopefully start developing some newer, bigger stars in those larger than life characters, because let's be realistic, Austin, Rock, all those guys, they were legends and gods to wrestling fans, and they were icons. They were larger than life figures, and it's gone away from that. But here's The Rock at his age. I don't know how old he is, probably late 50s, mid 50s, something like that.
He's 59.
59. Wow. 59.
He's about to turn 60, and he looks amazing.
Oh my God, that's insane. I didn't think he was that
Yeah.
old. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
he's 59 years old.
And he's still going strong to this day, and
Still
still
going strong. Do you think he's going to be the next authority figure? Because in
I
a lot of ways, the way they're shaping it up, it just seems like that. With the promo that you saw, it's great that he's in there, but here's the thing that I worry about, and the person I think that's going to get lost in this transition here is Paul Heyman, because The
yeah,
Rock's the mouthpiece now. That was Paul
yep,
Heyman's job.
yep.
So in a lot of ways, I don't know if they're setting this up for the long haul where The Rock's going to be a continued figure in the bloodline, or if he's going to turn on Roman Reigns in the end, at WrestleMania, and we'll see what happens with that. But man, I really, for the first time in a long while with WWE programming, it's exciting, and you can't predict it every week.
Yeah, that was going to be my next point that we talked about on our Atlanta show last night was the unpredictability. We were able to basically scout out everything that was ever going to happen for the last few years, and it's why a lot of us stopped watching the modern product. Now, like you said, we can't really predict what's going to happen because they keep changing it up. Will The Rock
Yeah.
turn on Roman at WrestleMania? Will The Rock, stand by Roman's side and make sure he gets the victory and try to, screw Cody out of it? Will somebody come out and help Cody? Will The Rock stick with the bloodline for the next 6 months or so? What are they going to do at WrestleMania 41? There's all these what ifs that we just can't predict right now. Whereas for so many years in the past, it was the easiest thing in the world to decipher what was going to happen.
Right.
Occasionally they'd pull a swerve on you a little bit and do something, but it was so predictable. And it's why so many fans stop watching, because no matter what people want to admit, when it's predictable, it's boring. When it's unpredictable,
Well, when it starts,
it's fun.
it's like the old adage that Vince McMahon used to say, in that commercial when the Attitude Era first started. We're away from the superhero gimmicks, and we don't want to
Yep.
insult people's intelligence at home, so we want to make it more of a real experience. WWE kind of took a step backwards, and they started to insult people's intelligence by creating the superhero gimmicks again and doing all the same watered down bullshit every week that we could predict. It was regurgitated every single week. How many
Over and
times can you
over.
put John Cena in a main event and it
Yeah.
be interesting? You know, it just, it never works out when you have a baby face that goes 10 times in WrestleMania main events back to back to back to back. And after a while, it's the same fucking outcome. You got Super
Yeah.
Cena going over, and that's what WWE's been for the large part. Now, I'm not knocking Cena any. I think he's a mega star, and he's going on to do great things in Hollywood. And for a lot of years, he carried WWE on his back. But there was a lot of different ways that they could have went about it and just not keeping him the same character. And that's the unfortunate part of after the Attitude Era is WWE in a lot of ways. They had some good superstars that, if they would have stuck around, they could have kept that going and kept wrestling interesting. But they had to throw a couple Hail Marys with these guys like John Cena, and eventually it shifted into the PG era. They forgot the 18 to 45 demographic that brought them to the dance. So that's why you saw that downfall in viewership every week.
I hope with streaming that it can kind of change that around, because the edgy nature of the Attitude Era is what drew so many people in. Do I think the Attitude Era could ever come back? No, there's too many
No.
sensitives, sensitive people out there that can't take a storyline and a joke and deviate it, and everything's got to be catastrophized, and you got to cancel everybody if they make one mistake. There's no way the Attitude Era could get, and do the things they did back then, but they could still make it more edgy, because the fun thing, once again, goes back to the predictability for anybody that watched it during this time. You never knew what was going to happen, and that was the fun part that made wrestling must see. What's funny about this match, I did see it once. I've never seen it a second time, the one we're watching tonight, the Austin and Rock in 15.
Good.
Only seen it once since when it first came out. Never seen it again. I don't even remember the winner, and I don't even remember what happened in this one. I can't remember for the life of me what it is, because I was a WCW guy at this point. So I wasn't always watching. I would follow it and keep up with it. But that was another fun thing about this era. There was always somewhere else to go. So I was always glued to WCW stuff more so.
Sure.
So a lot of this stuff is even hard to remember, because that was the cool part of the Attitude Era, was that war, going back and forth, checking out the channels. Who did you put your allegiance towards? What did you do? The unpredictable nature of Nitro and Raw. Who was going to show up on Raw one night? Who was going to show up on Nitro? Who was going to jump ship? I mean, that was the cool part about it. So this is going to be a fun match. I'm looking forward to going back and checking it out again for the second time in my life. and getting refreshed on it. If you guys want to watch along with us, you're more than welcome to. We can't put it up on the screen here. We can't put the audio up just for copyright reasons. So we watch on Peacock. Anytime we do a watch along on the show, it's the easiest way to do it. We check everything out on Peacock, but if you have other places you want to find it, go right ahead. It's up to you what you want to do. We use the Peacock app. It's the easiest. So we are going to start at 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 30 seconds on WrestleMania 15 on the network. So once again, 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 30 seconds is where we're going to start, folks. So if you want to join with us, great. If you just want to listen to our discussion and commentary, whatever you would like. Richie, got it loaded up, ready to go?
Yes, sir.
All right. So if you guys want to go along with us, follow us on the countdown. We're going to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit that play button now. JR is here. JR is here. Is this when
this was right after he had his first bout with Bell's palsy? Yeah,
that's what I was thinking, because you could see his face there, how it was just a little different.
Yeah.
Was this his first match back from it that he called?
This was his first match back. Yeah, they kept him off WWE programming. Michael Cole had stepped up at the time and was doing the commentary for a long while here, and this was JR's first match back. Now I want to touch, because I know you were saying that you didn't know what was going on prior to this. So Vince McMahon and Stone Cold were pipe hot. A power vacuum happened when Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart had the Montreal Screwjob. Shawn Michaels for a good while was the top guy in the company. Stone Cold took the belt off of him, which then, Vince McMahon, of course, wanted to acquire Stone Cold Steve Austin as his champion. And of course, Stone Cold wanted to do things the hard way, as the old saying goes, instead of the easy way. And that set a blazing trail for their feud. And then you had Vince McMahon and him feuding for the longest time. And then at Survivor Series, The Rock ended up screwing Mick Foley and Stone Cold Steve Austin, with Shane McMahon being the special guest referee, which then put into the course of events of The Rock coming back and having to face Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania. So.
All right. So Vince is the special guest referee here?
He's the special guest referee. Shawn Michaels is still the commissioner at this point.
Okay.
And so that's why you're seeing him out here right now. There's Mike Chioda.
There he is. There's Mike Chioda, one of the best refs in WWE history. Boy, Shawn Michaels looks like a different guy right here, doesn't he, Richie?
He definitely looks like he's cleaned up a bit.
Yep. So what year would this have been? 25 years ago? This would have been 99. So he's not even sober yet at this point.
Correct.
Yeah. Boy, his hair is a lot different now than it was back then, huh?
Oh, man.
Father Time catches up with us all.
Oh, yes, it does.
It's great to see Howard Finkel, the greatest ring announcer ever, in there.
It was pretty wild how Shawn Michaels could make a guest appearance like this, and he would just captivate the audience still. It's like they never forgot.
Yep. Vince is kind of pissed that he's out here, though, for those not watching. Vince has this great look on his face. Shawn's going to be on the mic here. Let's see what he's got to say.
This is when Vince started juicing.
Yeah. Vince is big here, folks. Like if you're not watching, he's big, but he's not the Vince McMahon that we saw in a couple years when he was really hitting the roids.
Right.
Shawn looks very, very kind of strung out here.
He looks pretty rough.
Yeah. Mr. WrestleMania. He says you can't have a WrestleMania without the Heartbreak Kid. Do you like that nickname for him that they gave him, Mr. WrestleMania? Do you think it's fitting?
I think it is. I think in a lot of ways Shawn Michaels made WrestleMania, but if you're going to give the Mr. WrestleMania, I think you call him the showstopper. If you're going to give anyone the name Mr. WrestleMania, it's got to be The Undertaker.
Absolutely. It was the most popular thing year after year. It was always must-see to see, once they started to establish the streak. Yeah. Every year, everybody wanted to wait and see if The Undertaker was going to finally lose and who was it going to be to, and it just never happened until that fateful day and Brock Lesnar won.
So basically what Shawn Michaels is saying here, I don't know if anyone remembers at home, but, prior to this, Shawn Michaels was the one that brought Stone Cold Steve Austin back after Vince fired him. Mm-hmm. And, basically, he had a contract for another title shot. Well, here Shawn Michaels is saying, see, you don't ever read the fine print. We can't have you be the guest referee.
It's good storytelling, though.
Yeah, it is.
I love Vince when just his mannerisms as a character, Richie. You just look at his
Yeah.
facial look, when Sean's telling this to him, he's kind of like blown away that this guy is pulling one over on him, so to speak.
Vince is a great actor, man. He definitely
Oh, he's
knows how to
great.
play the maniacal, a lot of times, these characters, they're just you dialed up to a 10.
And we're not putting over Vince McMahon, the human being, folks. We recognize with everything that's going on, everybody's innocent until proven guilty. We're talking about the wrestling character. I hate that we have to preface that, but
Correct.
we do always, when we talk
We do
about
have to
Chris
reference
Benoit on
it.
here,
Yeah.
we're going to have to do it with Vince sometimes. So we're looking at it from the entertainment perspective, not the human perspective.
Exactly. Look at that Rolex, man.
Bro, I'd love one of those.
Me too.
Too rich for my blood.
Easily 20 grand.
Yep. Imagine paying 20 grand for a watch.
Yeah, you can get an Apple Watch for $250.
Seriously. You can get other nice watches for that too. I'm not spending that type of cash for it. If I'm dropping 20 grand on something, it's not going to be a watch.
It'd probably be a truck or a motorcycle or something.
Pretty much. That I could justify doing.
Yeah.
This is kind of weird, though, that they do this in the WrestleMania main event. Like it's a Raw where they're bringing Shawn Michaels out to kind of pull the swerve on him a little bit. It's a little different than what we were probably used to.
I'm wondering if they, Shawn Michaels would always show up as a surprise, though. So I'm wondering if they even planned this.
Oh, they had to. Vince knew everything he was doing.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Weeks in advance, right?
Oh, probably months in advance.
They used to meet up at his house and sit by the pool and, discuss it all the time from what I read in stories and stuff like that. Pat Patterson and all those guys.
What do you think Vince saw in Shawn Michaels so much that he would put up with the crap that he put up with him before this and for a few more years after this? What do you think Shawn had that Vince would let him basically do whatever he wanted?
I think Shawn Michaels was who Vince McMahon wanted to be. I think the charisma, the style, the attitude, the brashness, I think all of that was something Vince wanted to be in his younger years. And I think he saw that Shawn Michaels was a star, which, hey, let's be honest, he is a star. Shawn Michaels was a star, but he couldn't handle the success once it was given to him, unfortunately. But I to answer your question, I think that's why I think Vince lived vicariously through Shawn Michaels a lot of times. You can see it.
Yeah. Kind of the guy he wishes he could be, right?
Absolutely. You can tell. I mean, the way he looks at him, you can tell.
You know what's funny? I was listening to a podcast. I forget which one it was, but they were talking about the stuff with Vince and and just how he people were so flabbergasted that this was him. And a lot of people said that when you look at the way, and this is the psychology of it too, when you look at the things that went on and the scandal that's going on right now and all the things that he apparently did or was accused of or is accused of doing, they're all conducive to a guy that lacks self-esteem. He lacks this ability to feel good about himself. All the money in the world, everything he could possibly want, but he still needs that power over people in his own way. And he wishes he was probably other things, and he feels inferior in certain ways, I'm sure. Now, he's never going to sell that to you, but it's textbook 101 for the things that you see in these allegations and all the things that have been coming out afterwards. That, just like you said, this is a guy that wishes he was probably other people. He wishes he was a Shawn Michaels. He wishes he was that. He probably just felt really inferior with himself. And he plugs himself into the biggest storylines. Now, it worked out for the WWE because if you didn't have Vince McMahon,
tenfold.
Yeah, like these storylines would not have been as good.
Well, you saw what happened to the stock when he came back. It skyrocketed. I mean,
what did it boost up like $30 or $40 a share?
Yeah.
Something insane. Do you like that belt, Richie?
I love that belt. I think it's one of the best belts of all time, but it's nothing, in my opinion, compared to the Smoking Skull belt. I think that was the greatest Attitude Era belt of all time.
What about the Winged Eagle? Where do you rank that one?
The Winged Eagle was the most prestigious, beautiful belt of all time.
Oh, it's so good. I love the big gold belt too.
Dude, the title, the championships from back then, I mean, they're almost perfect compared to today's. You know, that hot garbage that Orange County Choppers made for WWE, I just thought was ridiculous. I like the side plate idea. I don't like the center plate.
That is a really, really big belt when I look at it, Richie. The face of it,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
huge. I
yeah.
think that's bigger than the big gold belts one. Do you?
I think so.
Oh, listen to that pop for Austin coming out now.
Yeah, there's a backstory here to his entrance. He forgot his
Hit me with
vest in
it.
the hotel room here.
Oh, so that's why he's wearing the
That's why he's
t-shirt.
wearing the t-shirt. Yeah, yep. And I actually have the knee brace from this match that he wore. I have it in my closet actually, and I
I
have
remember you had his
a
brace.
pair.
That's from this match. That's the one he's wearing in this one
That's
right
from
here.
Yep, yep. I have that knee brace, and I have a autographed 8x10 of The Rock that he sent to Austin after this match. He signed it, and then he wrote on the back. He wrote, "Greatness. It's a word that people just don't understand."
Wow.
Yep,
So you have that exact knee brace that he's wearing right there.
I have that exact knee brace.
That's awesome. I know I've seen it. I didn't know it was the exact one for this. You must have
It's the
you must
exact
have
same
cut
one.
a good deal with somebody or paid a pretty penny for that one.
I did. I did.
Uh,
It's probably my most treasured item that I have.
and rightfully so. You know,
Yeah, yeah, for
rightfully
sure.
so. I mean, WrestleMania match, he's wearing a ring worn part of his gear. Oh, nice move by The Rock to dump him over the
Yeah.
top. I like that. They are taking it right to the outside, folks.
Can you believe
Listen to
that
Jim.
Eric Bischoff told Steve Austin in black trunks and a bald head he would never draw any money?
Uh-huh. Boy, was he wrong on that one, huh?
Oh my God.
As much as I love Eric Bischoff, he at least admitted he was wrong too. I've heard him admit it a
Yeah.
million times.
Well, how could you not?
That's what I like about Bischoff. You know, people give him a lot of shit for things for whatever
He'll
reason,
admit when he's
but
wrong.
he always admits when he's wrong. I
Yeah,
never hear him really double down too far on things. If he knew it sucked and he screwed up, he's the first one to tell you. So I love that about him because that was one of the worst predictions ever. Austin is still printing money to this day, Richie.
just off of t-shirt sales.
Yes,
What do
sir.
you think? What do you think stood out about Steve Austin amongst the rest that just made him the megastar he is in the WWE?
He was everything that everybody wanted to be and be able to go do. Who doesn't want to flip your
Yeah,
boss off at certain points and times and tell him to go, you know what?
yeah.
He said what he wanted, he did what he wanted, he drank beer, he had a good time, he raised hell, he was fun.
Cold
He
beer.
did yep, he gave zero shits about anybody's feelings.
Yeah,
Everybody, whether you were a good guy or a bad guy, could be you know, stunned by the Texas rattlesnake. He was everything people wanted to be, you know, and do and just
I
couldn't do
agree.
it. So, do you agree with that?
I agree with that, and I think I think the charisma that he had, the ability to talk trash, the ability to relate to the common man, was his biggest strength. And the badass attire he'd wear. I mean, come on, man, that black vest that he came out with, and the knee braces added a certain pain to his character that you could relate with and stuff. And we grew up with Stone Cold Steve Austin being stunning Steve Austin. And so when you saw
Yeah.
this gimmick, how could you not fall in love with it, man? This was
Yeah.
at a time when you had Celebrity Deathmatch, you had South Park, you had all these different shows that pressed the limit of the airwaves. And Stone Cold was no different with his character, man.
I hated him as stunning Steve Austin. Not that I hated him as a wrestler, but I hated him as a heel. He was such a good heel in WCW. I
Such
always
a great
was
heel.
thinking that WCW was going to one day put the belt on him when he was there, but for whatever reason, he
Yeah.
just maxed out at the US title. I thought he was a
Right.
viable contender to be a potential world champion in WCW as stunning Steve
Sure.
Austin. What do you think? What do you think about that for him?
Stunning Steve Austin was a great character. The only thing is, there was a missing piece of that. That's not who Steve Austin is as the person, and I
Hmm.
think that he had to fake it for a lot of years. And I think that the fans kind of read on that. But once Stone Cold had that promo that he cut in ECW, that's what really kind of shined the light on this character here. And that's what they brought him over as after the $1 Million Man situation. They
Yeah, the
gave him an
ringmaster
opportunity. It was
failure.
the ringmaster was a failure, and
Yep.
Stone Cold Steve Austin had one chance and one opportunity left before they were going to let him go, and he came out with this character, and boy, that was probably the best decision that man ever made in his life.
You got that right. He didn't want to do the ringmaster character, if I remember. Didn't he try to fight it?
He tried fighting it. He didn't understand. He thought it was going to be a corny gimmick, and that's what it turned out to be.
Didn't last long, that's for sure.
Didn't last long.
They are brawling all over here. So is this like a street fight or a no holds barred match or something?
Falls there's a no DQ. Yeah,
no DQ. Gotcha. Austin's leg landed on the prop there, right on his bad knee. That didn't look like that. Bump. Yeah, that was a bad one. That didn't look like it felt too good. Where is this at, Richie? Which stadium is this? Do you know?
Or, I don't remember, to be honest with you.
Let's see. I don't remember. Look that up really fast.
Because I don't think remember it was in Madison Square Garden, but I don't quote me on that.
No, I don't think this is a Madison Square one. It doesn't look like Madison Square Garden. Let me see. WrestleMania 15, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Philadelphia. Okay.
Yeah, Philly. This was the Chainsaw Charlie and Mick match versus the Outlaws, if I remember correctly.
That was incredible.
Yes, it was. That was a great boy. That put the Outlaws on the map huge with that one, didn't it?
When they joined DX, yeah. I mean, that's when they finally got the And to be honest with you, the Outlaws, they didn't want to be part of DX at the time. If you watch a lot of interviews with Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, they both described that they thought they were over on their own, that they didn't need DX.
Crazy to think, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they were over, but not to the level they got from DX. What if that never would have happened from them? You think either of them are in the Hall of Fame?
I think they would have fizzled out eventually. If
they both sucked as singles guys.
You think so? I think I think Billy Gunn had the athleticism. I think that if they were put together, as one individual, they would have had every piece of the what you need to be that it factor. Because Billy Gunn had the looks, he had the physique, and he had the moveset. Road Dogg had the charisma.
And he was very good on the mic too. Road Dogg was very good on the mic.
Very good on the mic, very charismatic. And I think if you had them together, then and that's why they were such a great tag team.
They tried with Billy Gunn and tried to put him over. I think he got his biggest match after winning King of the Ring versus The Rock at SummerSlam. I think that was kind of his highlight of his singles career. But every other
church, man. That match with The Rock was bad.
Yeah, and it just his singles push got ended. Oh, he couldn't even touch him in any way. I mean, Billy Gunn's always had a great look, but he was floundering for so many years. He had the rockabilly gimmick, and him and Road Dogg Jesse James were going back and forth over for it seems like week after week. We watched it in '97 with rockabilly and Jesse James Armstrong or whatever the hell he was calling himself. The crowd hated it. They hated both of them. Then you paired them up, and look what they did. They became icons and Hall of Famers, one of the greatest tag teams in wrestling history to many people. So it never worked for them as singles ever. No matter what either of them did, they never got over as singles people.
I thought Road Dogg did a great job on the hardcore title. I thought that was one of his more shining moments too, is his hardcore title run. He brought a lot of legitimacy to that. Unfortunately, it was a lot of drug-fueled stuff, but I thought it was a really good situation for him.
Austin is now going up, folks. Put Rock right on the table and just went right through it. That table folded up pretty easy, didn't it?
Oh yeah. If there was a match that ever lived up to the hype and what the story told, it was this one.
Jeez, these guys, folks, if you've never seen this or it's been years, you don't remember, these guys are beating the snot out of each other everywhere. The crowd is eating it up.
Exploded.
Tables are smashed. I love the water spot. Rock spit water in Austin's face just a minute ago. And then as soon as Austin got the upper hand, he just spit it right back in his face.
Ooh, here we go.
Yeah, he's going for the knee now. Rock's wrapping his leg around the post, folks. He's going to hit it. There you go. Richie, there's a sign that says, I want to poop.
Yeah. Go on the TikTok shop. There's some great stuff on there that'll make you do that.
Jesus. I want to poop. What a sign. Drunk Steve 316. Stone Cold 420. That gives you an idea of,
yeah. Could you imagine if today somebody took a sign in there and said, I want to poop?
Oh, bro, they would have
I
him
have to
escorted out
poop.
of the building and banned for wrestling for life. Look, I have to poop. You see it?
Yeah. It's funny
We
when I look
spent
in the
all
crowd,
that
I see
money
all
for a
these.
ticket to get a sign
Yeah,
and put it up to say,
that says I have to
"I
poop.
want to poop." Wrestling fans can be very interesting, Richie.
I'm telling you, man.
There's even a sign for the Yeti, the failed
What a rock
WCW
bottom
gimmick.
there.
Nice rock bottom.
Diete is he's definitely Hall of Fame worthy.
Oh, he's something worthy. Poor Hulk Hogan got put a sandwich right between the Yeti and the Giant, and got humped by them both in that awful end of that match.
You know, I heard why the stunning Steve Austin gimmick didn't take off in WCW to be a top contender for the title. And a lot of sources have been telling me that it was because hard working and twerking Bobby Walker would not allow him to supersede his gimmick and his stardom.
Hard work, Bobby Walker. He's a Retro Wrestling Revival Hall of Famer,
Oh
by the
my
way.
God.
Oh, a chair shot on Kyoto.
That should have
Bro,
folded.
Mike Chioda took an unprotected shot to the head right there. Richie, I heard a story the other day. I think it was on 83
Is
Weeks
that
with
Tim
Bischoff.
White? I think I just saw Tim White.
Let's see. I don't know. He hasn't come out yet. Let's see if that's Tim White.
Yeah, JR.
Oh, we went for
Tim
the
White.
Boy, JR and King are good on commentary together.
Ouch.
Oh man, there was a story though on 83 Weeks about hard work Bobby Walker the other day. It was so random, and I thought of you instantly when it came up. Apparently, the Nasty Boys roughed hard work Bobby Walker up in a match, and it ended up going to the back, and hard work Bobby Walker and Jerry Sags, I believe, got in a fist
Yeah.
fight in the back, and hard work Bobby Walker didn't put up with anybody's crap.
No, he outworks everybody.
He does. We still can't find him. We don't know where he's at, but he's out there hard working somebody.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, nice kick
Probably
out.
the local drug dealers.
Hard work Bobby Walker is drug free, my friend. Come on.
He's drug free.
He's
He
drug
invented
free.
beer.
Wonder what he's doing.
Man.
The
Whatever it is,
old,
it's great.
yeah. The old
Whether
stars
he's
of the
making
90s.
sandwiches for a living, Uber Eats in it.
Whatever he's doing,
He's
he's
the
making
hardest working
something.
man in Uber Eats.
John is a Rudy Poo, that sign says right there. And they even spelled the way they
I don't
spell my
think you're
name,
Rudy
Jon.
Poo.
Is somebody
Yeah,
calling
I
me a
don't think
Rudy
you're
Poo
Rudy
here
Poo.
at Philadelphia? Monty 316, Jenna 143. The signs in Philly here make very little sense to me for some of this.
That was such an important part of going to the show, and I think that's like a lost art now.
They don't allow it in a lot of signs anymore.
Yeah, I know. I think it's kind of crazy how they censor it and stuff like that. I mean, you used to back in the day, you'd see big bed sheets be hung off the rafters with signs and stuff like that.
Yep. That was the fun of it when you went to a show and you bring your sign. They would tell you like for if anybody ever went to a Raw back in the day, they would tell you like right when the show before it was going to start, they would say, make
He's
sure you
calling a
hang your
spot right
signs up.
here. Can you see that? Can you see how
What was
Stone
that?
Cold was calling a spot there?
Yeah, he's whispering it on his under his hand.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you
Oh
off.
No. That was a good pickup actually, because I see he put his hand up over his face like that. They would encourage you though, folks. And for anybody that might remember during the Attitude Era, if you ever went to a Raw or something, they'd say, hold your signs up and scream as loud as you want, especially when we go on air right after the fireworks. Get those signs,
Yep.
put them up loud and proud. Get yourself on
Yep.
television, whatever. And everybody brought freaking signs in. Now you can't do it.
Right.
I think
You
they
can't do it.
monitor people, or they don't let them bring them in, or if they do let them bring it in, they have to look at the sign ahead of time to make sure it's okay. Come on, give me a break.
I don't know if you
That was
could
the
read
fun.
lips there, but Stone Cold said F you there.
No, I didn't. His punches back in the day, Richie, were just awesome too.
I think him and The Rock have the best punches in the wrestling business.
They're damn good.
Next to
That's
The
for sure.
Undertaker. The Undertaker's
They're
got
damn
some good
good.
ones too.
For the cover and Newt. Boy, JR.
Kurt Angle's got
Just-
some good ones too.
Oh, everything Kurt Angle does in the ring is really freaking good.
Yeah. with a broken freaking neck.
Everything.
Uh-oh, Tim White's
Yep.
going for the ride.
He's getting a rock bottom now too. We're gonna need
God
Mr.
rest his
McMahon in
soul.
here. Yeah, Tim died a few years ago, right?
Stunner. Yeah, he died a few years ago. Well, according to storyline, he died like 10 years ago, but yeah.
He would die every week on Tim White's lunchtime suicide back in the day.
Yeah.
He died last year. He died
Yeah, he died last year.
well, 2 years ago in June. So June 19th, 2022, he passed away. He was a great ref too, Richie. Look at the guy in
it's a
the
real shame. Those two guys are mainstays in the ECW arenas. It's
The
funny
guy with
that they're there.
the guy with the hat
They're in,
on
like,
and the hula
every-
shirts, right?
They wear the same outfits
Yep.
almost in every ECW pay-per-view.
Yep. It's fun to see some of the guys like they did the Superfan documentary on Vladimir, which I thought was awesome. Have you seen that yet, Richie?
I haven't got to see that yet. No.
Oh, dude, you're gonna love it. It's about this super fan of Vladimir. You guarantee you've seen him on camera a million times. He lives in the city and he talks about how important
Is that the guy in the
WWE
green
was.
shirt?
No, that's green shirt guy. He's his own. He's another one. I was gonna hit on him for a second. Then they had the guy with the red hat that would go to all the shows.
That was
Rick
for his
the
wife.
sign
Did
guy.
you know that?
Which one was that?
The
Green
sign guy.
What was
Him
for
and
his wife going to all the
used to
shows?
Yeah, him and his wife
Oh,
used to
really?
go to all the wrestling shows, and then when she passed away, it was a tradition that he kept going, and he would make a sign. They used to make a sign together for every event, and so he continued to do that, and he became the sign guy.
That's cool for him. I haven't seen him in years on at all.
I haven't either.
I know he's still around, but
yeah.
I met him at a show in Oklahoma City, and we got a picture of him with them. He had just been on Deal or No Deal, that show, and he won all that money. And he was such a nice dude, though. But it's funny, like you recognize these people in the crowd, like you mentioned, the ECW guys or the sign guy.
They become a character themselves.
They do. Green shirt or green hat guy is everywhere. The guy was even in the Puerto Rico show.
Yeah.
Think about having that much money at
Lou Thesz Press.
I love the
Lou Thesz Press. One of the coolest moves Austin did.
Yes, sir. And we got Mick out as the special referee now.
Yep.
Mrs. Foley's baby boy is here, folks. Nice clothesline by The Rock.
Uh-oh. He's going to catch
These guys are tearing the house down.
Boom.
Rock bottom. Damn.
He's ready for it.
He's got to hit that people's elbow, buddy. All right. Do you like The Rock bald or with hair? What are you going with, hair or bald?
I was talking to my wife earlier about this. I really like this stage of The Rock. The one nowadays, you can tell he's kind of hitting the gas a little bit, but this one
Just
here,
a pinch.
he's still a believable body type here that you could do it naturally. And his hair, he had great hair. I mean, if I had hair like that, I'd wear it like that all the time.
I think he's better bald. I got to go with bald. That's a great stunner. 1, 2, 3. Wow, nice.
I think The Rock probably was the best seller of the stunner.
Absolutely. I don't even think it's close, Richie.
Yeah.
Rock is a great seller that people do not give him credit for.
Right.
He made every punch, every kick, every move, anything believable. You know why you see him, I think, now, as much as I like his new look better than this one. I mean, I think this look was great, but I think his new one to me is just a little bit better. I like him more ripped and bald like that. Just looks more believable and badass to me, but I still love this one with him. But
yeah,
the changes in his body composition is insane. And his last match that you saw with Cena, people had criticized that he looked gassed in there, of course, because when you're carrying as much muscle that he carries now, he's going to be gassed in 5 or 10 minutes in a match. And he hasn't been in the ring at all.
You
barely.
cramp up.
Absolutely.
There's a reason why they call it being an in-ring shape,
It's why I think if they do a tag match at Mania with him and The Rock with The Rock and Roman versus, because The Rock is not going to be able to go for, 10, 15 minutes in a match, I don't think. I mean, he can, but is it going to be good? Probably not. He's going to be gassed in a short time.
He's 59 fucking years old. I mean,
yeah. You're not doing any more Iron Man matches at that age. It's not happening. And Roman Reigns is a
Look at
great
Vince McMahon
worker.
crying on the ground there.
Oh, I love that with him.
Yeah.
I think Roman Reigns is a really good worker. I don't think people give enough credit for what a great worker he is in the ring.
I think he's a great worker. I think Roman Reigns needs a little bit more of a move set change. You know, he does the same moves all the time, and so it can get kind of stale. I think his character and his charisma has been developed, tenfold recently.
Here
I love
comes
this.
the
He has a
beers.
beer bash with Earl Hebner.
Yep. He catches those beers perfectly almost all the time too. Did you see somebody threw an M&M stuffed animal? Yeah. They're hiding them. Somebody threw an M&M stuffed animal in there. Mr. Perfect just was perfect.
Yeah.
I love the old Mr. Perfect vignettes that they would do with him, especially when he caught his own pass.
Did you see that sign where they have the hand? He's like chugging a beer.
No, I didn't.
That's pretty cool. He's moving the hand back and forth with a beer can.
Oh, the stuff that people create, right?
Yeah. He drinks Coors Light like me, man.
Me too. It's the only beer that I really drink. Yep. Nothing like the Silver Bullet, buddy.
Oh, no.
He's cradling on those beers, I think, more than a belt.
You can see the noose that Big Boss Man was hung with by The Undertaker earlier in the night.
Yeah, it was actually, I think it was the match before this one was The Undertaker versus Boss Man, where he hung him.
Yep.
Wait, what a tasteless gimmick that was.
Oh, man.
To do. Hang the man by the noose. Austin's chucking the belt and getting back in there. I love it. 20,276, he said, was the attendance. It's going to be just a little bit bigger this year, Richie, don't you think?
Oh, man. They'll probably be in 70,000.
Yep. Crazy to think how much WrestleMania has evolved that, they're going to have that many people. I mean, I know they had big crowds back in the day, too. But
it's getting to the point. Look at Earl Hebner, how happy he is. It's getting to the point where
stun his ass, Austin. Come on.
WrestleMania is getting to the point of Super Bowl status.
Yep. Boy, Earl is happy to be drinking this beer, and he's getting up there on the top rope.
Earl just
I think he's about to get stunned.
Man. He always wanted to be one of the boys.
He definitely wanted to be part of the business at this point, and always you could see that. We had to have that passion as a referee.
Yeah.
They set up the ring, tear it down, be part of the ring crews, all the stuff they do. Right. Referees don't just get in the match and, call it. They're doing everything.
Well, he was an agent too for a lot of years.
Was he?
Yeah. Yep.
Gotcha.
I think in TNA he was an agent.
Second best referee to Nick Patrick for me.
Yeah, I got to go Earl Hebner all day long.
Fair enough. Two great ones, though. Probably the two most recognizable from WWE and then WCW is Earl and Nick.
Yeah,
we had Nick on the show a few months ago.
Well, Earl Hebner's writing a book about Vince McMahon after this first one just came out.
Oh, I bet he's been hamming it up on all the virtuals I've seen lately for all the virtual signings. Look at Vince calling Austin out. That's my belt.
Wham.
Nice shot.
I think Vince is one of the worst stunner takers of all time.
Probably the worst, other than Linda.
Oh, God. Every time it looks like he's going to die.
Yep. Linda took the worst stunner ever, I would have to say.
I think Sergeant Slaughter did. I don't know if you ever saw that one. That one was pretty bad.
I don't remember that one.
Oh, God. He came down on his chin, on his shoulder. It looked like he broke his jaw. And that's a big jaw.
That is a huge jaw on the Sarge.
Look at the beer swimming pool he's giving him.
That's probably like an Armani suit Vince has on right there, like a $3,000 suit getting soaked in beer.
You know what I love is, this wasn't the final stop for this feud.
No,
Backlash ended up being after this, and Stone Cold said that the belt that he won at WrestleMania wasn't good enough. He wanted his Smoke and Skull belt back, so he had to go against The Rock after this.
What a show. What a match. That was a great one, Richie. Great pick. Great pick on that one.
In my childhood, this feud was a very important part for me in my childhood, and so every time somebody asks, hey, what's your favorite moment in WrestleMania history? It's definitely a tie between this match and the Shawn Michaels and Undertaker match out here in Phoenix, Arizona. So those are my two favorites of all time in WrestleMania history.
Was that the finale? Was that Shawn's career ender? Or was that the first one?
That was Shawn's career ender.
So you were there for his career ending, huh?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool moment.
Wait, was that Shawn's career ender?
Against Undertaker? Undertaker ended his career because it was
right.
Career.
But I don't know if it was the one in Phoenix or if it was the one
I think,
the year.
No, Ric Flair's ending when Shawn ended his. I think it was the year or two before. That was in. I think that one was in Florida. I think it might have been in Phoenix. I think you're right. You might be right.
Yeah.
But
it was an incredible match to be present for, and definitely between the one we just watched and that one, those are my two WrestleMania matches of all time that are my favorite. So incredible time to be a wrestling fan back then, even.
No doubt, man. Well, we got it for our next episode. Keep an eye out on the station and check out their social media because you'll see, when they post up when the shows are going to come out. So we're going to be doing 2 shows a month out in the Denver and Colorado markets, and we do 8 shows a month out in our Atlanta market. But the beautiful thing is you can listen to us all online. But you got to check out our Facebook. Go to the Retro Wrestling Revival podcast. We put up links every time. We put up a bunch of other different stuff on our social media, on our Facebook account. And you can see when the episodes are going to be coming out, whether it's in Denver, whether it's in California, whether it's in Atlanta, or whether it's stuff that we're doing on our live show that we do typically every Monday night, or other stuff that we do live. We are always posting the links and when it's going to happen and what we're going to be doing on that social media. So it's why you got to check out our Facebook page. It's real important so you can see when the next show is coming out. So the next show we're going to do for this WrestleMania series, which will air here in California in a couple months or a couple weeks, will be one of my picks of my favorite childhood match. This is your favorite childhood match. This next one is mine, and it's WrestleMania 5. It's going to be Hulk Hogan versus the Macho Man, Randy Savage.
I'm just going to put this out there, man. This is the first time I'm seeing this match.
You have never seen the Mega Powers explode?
Never seen the Mega Powers explode.
Wow. Now, I know you are 31?
33.
33, okay. So this is... Yeah, no worries. You look younger than 33, so
appreciate that.
I'm 42. I just turned 42 a couple weeks ago. So this is my childhood right here. This is when I first got big into wrestling, and I'll talk about it more in the show. But Hulk Hogan was always my guy. WrestleMania 5, the Mega Powers Explode, is my favorite WrestleMania feud and my favorite WrestleMania match because it's what was my first big thing as a kid to really get into and see. And I was in love with Hogan at this point already. I loved him, but I was so invested in this as a young kid to watch this WrestleMania 5 card because I loved Macho, and when Macho turned on Hogan, it broke my heart as a kid too. So Macho's always top 5 for me, one of my all-time favorites. I'd probably say 2 or 3. If I had to pick Hogan's number 1, Macho's he's 2 or 3 depending upon my mood. So
yeah, sure.
I'm excited to check that out. So once again, go back and keep an eye on our social media because we post all of our stuff right on there, and it's the way for you all to go check out and know what we're going to be doing next. So, Richie, closing thoughts before we get off tonight, my friend.
I appreciate, letting me show this match, man. It was a very special time in my childhood. I'm glad I got to share it with y'all, and we got to watch it tonight, do some commentary on it. I'm looking forward to the shows that we're doing here, getting into the new markets and things like that. I think we got a lot of good content coming up for everybody at home, and I just want you all to stick with the ride with us. And, we got some good stuff to show you. So hope you all are enjoying the show, and we appreciate y'all.
100%. As Chris always says on the show, Chris gave a great catch line for the Retro Wrestling Revival. We are for fans, by fans. This is a fan cast. We're not professionals that work in the business. We're fans that love just talking about wrestling and sharing our passion with you and just going and having a good time with everybody. So if you're a like-minded wrestling fan and you want to go check out some great old content, we're the place for you. And we hope you come back and join us again on the next episode because Retro Wrestling Revival is for fans and it's by fans. So we're going to sign off for tonight. I'm John. That's Richie. Keep checking out our stuff. Follow us on social media once again. Retro Wrestling Revival Podcast on YouTube and Facebook. And thank you very much for your time. We hope you enjoyed it. This was a great pick from Richie. I'm glad I got a chance to see it and remember it again and go have a good time doing this with you. And we hope you guys had a great time with us. So We are going to sign off once again. Thank you again. We will see you all again real soon, right here on the Retro Wrestling Revival.